So very good morning, students. So today we are going to start with the chapter 1 of biology. So the very first chapter that we will be discussing is crop production and crop management. Okay. So first of all, beta, see from the name itself, it is very clear that here in this chapter we are going to talk about food. Now, as we all know, food is very important for us. Food is the basic necessity of life, or just in simple words we can say, if there is no food, there is no life. So food is such an essential commodity for our survival. Okay. Now, if food is so important for us, then it becomes very important that we have to make sure that we are always having a sufficient supply of the food. Okay, so in order to make sure that we are always with the sufficient supply of food, we have to follow new advanced methods in order to increase our food production. Okay, because as population is increasing day by day, so the food production has to be also increased. So in this chapter we will be studying about the food, how its production can be increased and improved. Okay, so let us start. Now first of all, let me tell you few terms that we will be using in this chapter. So the very first term is agriculture. So first of all, you should know what is agriculture. Now agriculture, it is the combination of two things. One is growing of plants along with the rearing of animals. Okay, so the combination of these both make the agriculture. So from both of them, from plants as well as from animals, we are going to get the useful products. Just for an example, from plants we will be getting the food, then we will be getting the fibers like cotton, jute. Okay, then from the rearing of animals we will be getting milk, meat, eggs and so on. So the list is quite long. So agriculture is the growing of plants along with the rearing of animals in order to obtain the useful products. Okay, so this is your first definition, agriculture, that we will be using in this chapter. Then the second term that we will be using here is crops. What are crops? Okay, now just in a simple words, if I have to explain you, like suppose wheat we want. Okay, now wheat is used, we all know, for making chapati, for bread, for making biscuits. Such a huge amount of wheat we all need. Okay, now can we just grow one plant of wheat and depend upon that, okay, that we will get sufficient wheat? No, it is not possible. From a single plant we will be not getting that huge amount of wheat that we require. So in this case, what we will be doing, we will be growing the number of plants of wheat together on a same place on a large scale. Okay, so when we are growing so many plants together on a same place, then they are referred to as crops. Okay, so when we are growing the huge number of plants, same kind of plants on a same place, then they are called as crops. Then the next term is field. So the place where we are growing the crops, that place is called a field. Okay, so far we have done what is food and its importance. Okay, then next we have discussed three terms: agriculture, crops and field. Okay, now we will just briefly discuss the classification of crops. Now when we are talking about the classification, so first of all, obviously we can't grow whatever we like and wherever we want. Okay, every crop has certain climatic condition requirement, and also the other factors like soil, they also play an important role for the growth of crops. Okay, so we can't grow whatever we like and wherever we want. So in India, basically the growing seasons are divided into two types. One is Kharif season and the second one is Rabi season. Okay, simply first of all, those crops that we will be growing in the Kharif season, they are called Kharif crops, and those crops which we will be growing in the Rabi season, they are called Rabi crops. Now what is a Kharif crop? You know what is a Rabi crop? That I am going to tell. So basically Kharif crops are those crops which require more water or high temperature. Okay, so it means they will be growing in the monsoon season, rainy season, because their water requirement is huge, and along with the huge water requirement they also need a high temperature. Okay, then these Rabi crops, they require less water and a low temperature, so we can say that these are basically winter season crops. Okay, so we will be growing the Kharif crops mainly from like June till we can say October. They will be harvested, and we will be planting the Rabi crops from October and till April. They will be there in our fields. Okay, then examples: Kharif crop, very common example here in Punjab, we are growing the paddy, so that is an example of a Kharif crop. Then Rabi crop, we are having the example wheat. See, now wheat is there in our fields, so it means this Rabi season is going on. It is just going to be harvested now. Okay, so it is a basic classification on the basis of growing seasons. Now the next is, the first thing is food crops. So what are food crops? Simply those crops which are used as a food, they are called food crops, like wheat, rice, so many, a long list is there, right? Then second one is cash crops. So those crops which are sold in the market for the purpose of sale, like for earning some money, they are called cash crops, like tea, coffee. Then third is subsistence crops. Now what are the subsistence crops? These are the crops which are grown by the farmer in order to meet the requirement of his own family, means not for the sale purpose. Farmers will not be selling them, they will be just keeping these crops for themselves, for their families, in order to, you know, fulfill their requirement. Okay, so this is the second one classification on the basis of purpose, like for which purpose we are using. Crops are classified into food crops, cash crops and the subsistence crops. Okay, then the next is, after this, after the basic classification. Okay, so now as I already told, in this chapter we are going to study about the agriculture. So definition I already told, agriculture is the rearing of animals along with the growing of plants. Okay, now here we will start with the agricultural practices. So the first heading that we will be discussing here is agricultural practices. First of all, practices. So here practices means methods or techniques. Okay, so I hope now the term will be very clear to you. So simply we can say the methods which are followed by the farmers in order to do the agriculture, in order to do the farming, they are called agricultural practices. Okay, simply the definition of agricultural practices is, it is a set of methods or techniques which are being used by the farmers for doing the farming. Okay, now these agricultural practices, so here basically 7 steps are included. So 7 basic steps are included. Now in this chapter we will be discussing these 7 steps one by one in detail. Okay, so like today we will be discussing the first step. Okay, so let me tell you the first step. The very first step that is included in agricultural practices is preparation of soil. Very, very important. preparation of soil. Okay, so obviously when we are growing plants, so first of all our field has to be prepared, na? Our soil has to be prepared, it should be enriched with the nutrients, it should be in a good condition, then only something will be growing in our field. Okay, so the first step is preparation of soil. Now this preparation of soil is again done by the basic two steps. The first step is plowing. The very first step is plowing. Now what is plowing? Simply beta loosening and turning of the soil with the help of a tool called plow is it is referred to as plowing. So in plowing what will happen? The soil will be turned and it will be made little loose, like the surface of the field will not be hard anymore. Okay, so it will become little soft and little loose. Okay, so this is called plowing. So in we can say olden days, traditionally this plowing was done with the help of animals, but nowadays animals are not used, tractors are being used. So with the help of tractors this plow is being moved around in a field, and due to which what will happen? The plowing will be being done by the help of that tractor. So it is, we can say, it is less time consuming and less labor is required when it is done with the tractor. Obviously when we are doing something with the machines, it requires a less effort. Okay, now this plowing, why there is a need of doing plowing? What is the main, we can say, benefit or advantage of this plowing? So let us discuss the advantage. Not only one advantage, it offers us so many advantages. Okay, so starting with the first advantage. So the very first thing is aeration. Aeration means when we have done the plowing of a field, gaps will be there, spaces will be there between the soil particles, and through those gaps air will be moving deep into the soil. It will be reaching the roots of the plants, so therefore it will promote the better growth of plants. Okay, second thing is root penetration. So obviously when the soil is little loose, the roots will be penetrating properly deep into the soil. Then third is better drainage. Like air, so water will also be moving down the ground very easily. So these are the three main advantages of plowing. Along with that, another advantage is that it promotes the growth of organisms such as earthworms. So earthworms, what they will be doing? They will be doing the decomposition. Okay, and therefore when they are doing the decomposition, what will happen? Nutrients will be added to the soil. As a result, soil fertility will increase. Okay, then another advantage of plowing is that the soil is little loose. When it is little loose, the fertilizers or whatever pesticides we are putting in our fields, they will be mixing easily. Okay, so their mixing will not be a problem. They will easily get mixed in the loose soil. So these are some of the advantages of the plowing. Okay, now after this plowing is done, the second step is leveling. So the level has also to be same. Okay, then only we can properly then only the proper growth of the plants will be there. So leveling is done with the help of a leveler. Okay, it is also a tool. Usually it is made of wood. Okay, and it is being run in the field by the help of tractor. So when we are just when it is being moved around in the field, what will happen? Soil crumbs, like whatever soil crumbs are there in the field, okay, so they will get crushed or broken. Okay, and the level becomes equal. Okay, so obviously beta, we can't grow plants in such a field where somewhere it is so high, somewhere it is low. One plant is growing here and another plant is growing here. No uniform distribution of the seeds and no uniformity. Irrigation will also not be possible. Okay, so the ground has to be leveled. Firstly, plowing has to be done, and after plowing the leveling has to be done. Okay, so after these two things, now our ground is ready to use. Okay, so now our field is ready. Now we can sow the seeds. Clear? So I hope this first step is clear. So this is the basic step, preparation of soil. Then the second step is selection and sowing of seeds. Second step is selection and sowing of seeds. It is also very important. Okay, as you know, when we are sowing something, okay, if its quality will not be good, then what will be growing in our field? Nothing. Okay, so the seeds that we are selecting, they have to be of very good quality. They should be disease free. Okay, so let me explain it in detail. So the second agricultural practice is selection and sowing of seeds. So the very first thing is seeds should be of good quality. They should be healthy, or we can say they should be disease free. Okay, they should be clean. Okay, so these points we have to consider when we are selecting the seeds. Okay, then after this, two main factors are more like which we have to consider during the sowing of seeds. The first factor that we have to consider is right depth. Right depth. It is very important. Why? Because if your seeds are too close to the surface, so what will happen? Birds will come and they will just eat and go away, right? Nothing will be left in the field. Then if they will be too deep, then they will not be getting a proper air, water, and they will not grow only. Okay, so the right depth is a very important factor that we have to consider during the sowing of seeds. Then along with the right depth, another factor that plays an important role, you know, during the sowing of seeds, another is enough space. Enough space. So when we are sowing the seeds, you know, proper spacing should be there. They should be sown at the proper gaps. Okay, like if we will put all the seeds together, you know, on the same place, so when these seeds will be growing into plants, there will be a competition, there will be a fight between them for the space, they will fight for the water, they will fight for the nutrients, so the growth will not be proper. Okay, just in a very simple words, if I say, you know, on this table, two students can sit, and if I will just tell you 5 students please sit on this table, so what you people will be doing? You will be fighting among yourselves, right, for the space. Same way here, plants will also be fighting, you know, among themselves, right? So these two factors have to be considered when we are sowing the seeds. Okay, then after this, then what are the basic methods that are being used for the sowing of seeds? Okay, so the basic 2 methods that are being used are, first is broadcasting. Simply, what is broadcasting? Scattering the seeds into the field with the help of hands, that is called broadcasting. So I think from this word only it will be very clear to you when we are just scattering it like this. So there will be uneven distribution of the seeds. Uniformity will not be there. Somewhere more seeds will fall and somewhere very few seeds will fall. Okay, so uniformity will not be there, right? Then the second disadvantage is it is a time consuming process because we are doing it by ourselves with our hands. Okay, so it will consume a lot of time and it will require a lot of labor also. Okay, then the next method that is being followed is by using a machine called seed drill. So seed drill, it is basically having a funnel shaped structure on its top. Okay, if you know, I'm not drawing the exact diagram, very simply if I have to tell you, it is having a funnel shaped structure on the top. Here opening is there, so here the seeds are filled. Okay, and here number of pipes are being connected. Okay, so from this funnel shaped structure, these seeds will be moving down into the ground. Okay, so they will be moving down into the ground. Clear? So the benefit of this is we are doing it with a machine, so it will require less time and less labor, and also there will be a not uneven distribution, there will be a uniform distribution of the seeds. Okay, so they will be at proper places with proper gaps and they will be growing properly, right? So this is your second step, that is selection and sowing of seeds. Okay, so I hope these both the steps are clear to you people. Okay, so total 7 steps are there, so we will be discussing all 7 in detail, but today first 2 steps I have covered, so I hope they are very clear to you. Thank you.